Greetings! Here we are at Lone Star Percussion in Fullerton, and it's concert season. It's time to put the marching stuff away, and you're going to be asked to play a lot of different instruments in concert band that perhaps you haven't played in a while. So today I'd like to give you a quick little primer on some of the most important concert instruments that you're going to play. I hope you find it helpful. A concert snare drum is different than a marching snare drum. It's basically a solo instrument in the concert band. Its sound should be short and crisp. Should sound the same soft as it does loud. Check that the throw-off works. If the throw-off doesn't work, it's usually something that's loose or the shell may be dented. Ask your band director to fix it. Or better yet, learn to fix it yourself. Check that the heads are not overly worn. There shouldn't be any dents, or if the coating is worn, that's a sign that they need replacement. It's time to put away those heavy marching band sticks you used in marching band. Concert sticks are a little lighter and should be appropriate for the size of the drum. A lot of marching drumming uses a heavy downstroke. In concert drumming, you want to try and play off the head a little bit more and let the stick have more of a natural rebound. Still keeping a firm but relaxed grip on the sticks. Rolls in concert band are almost always closed. Unless you're playing a march or otherwise notated. They should have a buzzing sound but not crushed. The playing spot should be slightly off center. Just a little bit. Light playing can be done at the edge, but it's preferred to keep your playing in the center as much as possible. Let's talk about the next most important part of the concert percussion battery, the concert bass drum. Let's start with how concert bass drums and marching bass drums are different. Obviously, a marching bass drum is worn, but a concert bass drum sits on a stand. You may have a suspended stand with a lot of big rubber bands and a circular brace for it, or you may have it on a tripod-like stand, or you may have it on a bifolding stand, or a stand similar to this one. Sometimes a tilt is preferred to make it easier to play or to bounce the sound off of the floor. Either way, you want to position yourself comfortably behind the drum, not to the side of the drum. Marching bass drums are played with 2 mallets. Concert bass drum is usually played with 1. Concert bass mallets are usually covered with lamb's wool or soft or medium felt. The hard felt on a marching bass drum mallet is usually too hard and articulate for a concert bass drum. Choose a mallet that's the appropriate size, weight, and hardness for the piece that you're playing and the drum you're playing on. The type of mallet head can make a big difference on the sound of the drum. Some are round, some are more oval, which gives you more surface contact on the drum and more overtones. Use a mallet that sounds best for your situation on your drum. The striking spot on a concert bass drum is just slightly off center. The drum should be pitched low. Marching bass drums are pitched high to medium. A concert bass drum should have a long resonant sound. It should go boom. If you have T-handles on the drum, check that they haven't all been turned the same way so that the drum is properly tuned. Rolling on a marching bass drum is done with 2 mallets. Rolling on a concert bass drum is also done with 2 mallets, but only on 1 head. Rolling on a concert bass drum is always single-stroked, much like timpani or suspended cymbal. You can do it match grip, or a traditional grip. Work for a smooth sound where the tones blend together. Probably the most misunderstood aspect of playing the concert bass drum is note length and dampening, or muffling. Concert bass drums can play notes of various lengths, long and very short. Dampening the drum can be done in one of several ways. You can use your free hand to play short staccato notes or to dampen a single note. You can also use that hand on the opposite head if it rings a lot. However, you still need the fingertips on the playing hand to dampen the playing head. That doesn't work very well for quick playing. Another great option is to use your right knee. Many stands will have a place for your foot, or a small footstool or box will work. This works very well for quick playing. Sometimes in marching band, the concert bass drum has a towel or a large cloth on it. That's because the performer can't use his hands to mute it because he's playing other instruments. This is a special effect sound. It's not the sound of the bass drum in the concert band usually. Lose the towel and use it only when requested. At some point, you're likely to be asked to play tambourine. Tambourine is actually the other snare drum. Snare drum is actually developed from tambourine-like instruments, so it's a really important solo instrument in band. There's generally two types of tambourines, headed and non-headed. For most concert work, the headed tambourine is preferred. There are several ways to hit the tambourine. One good way is to take your hand and make a duckbill with it and strike the tambourine. Where you strike it will affect the sound. The loudest is generally in the center. Towards the edge, a little less. And the softest and most articulate sound is over the shell. For the softer sound, you can flip it and play on the backside. It's very soft there. Accents are usually played with a fist or really with the knuckles towards the center. Rolling on the tambourine can be done two ways. The easiest way is to shake the tambourine. A smoother roll can be accomplished by a thumb roll. That's where you take a moistened thumb and rub it across the tambourine. You can put beeswax on your tambourine to make it easier to thumb roll. Always remember to move your hand and not the tambourine this way. The angle that you put the tambourine at affects the sound. Flatter gives you more jingle, less jingle at an angle. Most of the playing is done at a slight angle. You can change the sound of the tambourine also by leaving your palm on it, or change the pitch and muting with your thumb. An alternate technique, usually used in pop or rock music, is playing eighths by shaking the tambourine back and forth. Accents played on the heel of your hand, or sixteenths. Triangle is one of the most important sounds in concert band. It's a solo instrument, and it's always meant to be heard. It's really important. Triangles come in a variety of sizes, with different sounds. Some sound better than others. Here's a little teeny one. Some have more of a pure tone to them. Some are very shimmery sounding. The grip with the triangle is really important. Start by using a clip. This can be a clip from a hardware store or a clip made specifically for triangle. It should have a very, very thin string. The thinness of the string makes a big difference in the tone of your triangle. Better yet is to have two strings, one as a backup in case it falls. The way you want to grip a triangle that's in a clip is to take your hand and make a C. Then set the clip right over your hand. It should be set so that your fingers aren't touching the triangle, but they can grab it if you need to. This way, the weight of the triangle is just on the clip, and it's very easy to hold. This is where the short strings come in handy. There are a variety of beaters you can use on the triangle. Pick a beater that matches the size and weight of the triangle, as well as the sound that you want. Heavier beaters can sound clunky. Smaller beaters might sound too thin or may give you the light sound you want. The striking spot on the triangle is probably the most important thing in determining its tone. There are a lot of opinions on what a triangle should sound like. What it comes down to is, what does the music require and what do you and the director want to hear? Hitting the triangle in the center will give you the purest sound with the least amount of overtones. It's very bell-like. Hitting the triangle on the open end gives you a shimmerier sound with many overtones. Most people want that sound with the triangle, but you should always go with what sounds best with the music or what the conductor asks for. Rolling on the triangle happens in the closed corner. You want to complete the angle, not straight up and down, but at the same angle to make an equilateral triangle. Volume is achieved by going farther away. Just work for an even stroke. Hitting the triangle, you want to use the last part of the beater. You want to use about 1/4 inch and strike off the triangle so that it doesn't sound clunky. The suspended cymbal is probably one of the most dramatic sounds in concert band. The biggest issue with a suspended cymbal is choosing the cymbal itself. What makes a good suspended cymbal? Do you want a sound that's fast? Do you want a sound that's dark? A sound that's dramatic? All of these things have to be taken into account in your suspended cymbal. Good candidates for a suspended cymbal make, well, obviously, a cymbal that's made to be a suspended cymbal. Drum set cymbals, not always good candidates. A ride cymbal is usually too thick and the sound won't build up appropriately and it doesn't give you a fast crash. On the opposite end, a thin crash won't have a sound that'll build up well on a roll. So something in the middle. Sometimes a medium cymbal works just fine. Another option is a single cymbal from a pair of handheld cymbals. There are different ways you can suspend your suspended cymbal. The most common is to use a normal cymbal stand. Just make sure that you have felts and a sleeve to keep from having metal on metal contact. Another popular way is to use a gooseneck type stand, which suspends the cymbal from the top with a strap. This allows for the most amount of overtones from the cymbal. You could sometimes rig a gooseneck type stand using a boom cymbal stand as well. Suspended cymbal mallets are usually made of yarn. A good heavy marimba mallet will work. Best is mallets that are made for a suspended cymbal. A lot of older music asks for a timpani mallet or a felt mallet, which is made differently and doesn't have enough weight to activate the cymbal. A cymbal mallet has a little different weight and hardness to it, and it'll activate the entire cymbal. Probably the most dramatic sound in music is a suspended cymbal roll. Rolling on a suspended cymbal is easy, but it's something you want to practice a few times before you have to do it. The best placement for your mallets for a cymbal roll is opposite each other at about 3 and 9 o'clock, or pretty close to that, and near the edge of the cymbal. When crashing the cymbal, you want to hit the cymbal close to the edge if you want a fast sound. For a really big and quick sound, you can use both mallets exactly opposite each other. This produces a pretty dramatic crash. You can also use a single drumstick to get a very quick crash. Hit the stick across the cymbal for a different sound. Drum set type sounds are produced with the tip of the stick a little farther inward. Muffling or dampening the suspended cymbal is easy. You just grab the edge with your fingertips. You might still hear a slight ring present right where you're at, but that's okay. From a distance, that won't be heard. You don't have to really grab it any more than that. Timpani is one of the pitched instruments that you're going to use. It's important that we get a correct tone on the timpani, and that starts with the grip. Mallet grip on timpani is a little bit different than your snare drum grip. The most often used grip is what's called a French grip. Thumbs are up, hands are facing each other. Similar to that is the American grip, just turned slightly inward. Rarely used here is a German grip, which is a lot like your common snare drum grip. You have to be careful to not play with too much weight when using this grip. That's why the French grip is preferred, because you can get off of the drum. The striking spot on timpani is about a third of the way to the center. A hand's measure is a good spot, or where you get the most tone. We want to play off of the drum, not into it. Rolls on the timpani are always single stroke. Work for a smooth hand-to-hand so that the tones blend into each other, and always with the best tone. Notes on timpani are a specific pitch. They're also a specific length. That requires dampening or muffling the drum. You can use the fingertips of the hand that's not playing or the fingertips of the hand that is playing to mute the drum. Here's some examples. Timpani are a bassed voice instrument. You're going to be matching other instruments in the band like trombones, tubas, euphoniums, baritones that play your part. So you have to be specific when tuning. Don't use your mallets to tune. Mallets are for playing, fingertips are for tuning. When tuning the drum, you want to just tap it lightly enough that you can activate the head and hear the pitch. Get a pitch reference from a low sound, something that's in the range of your drum. Slide up to the pitch. If you pass it, go all the way back down. Think of tuning a guitar or a violin string or a bad country singer to get your pitch, but always go from the bottom up. And always with fingertips, please. There are a lot of different ways to play the crash cymbals in marching band and in concert band. Let's just give you a few fundamentals in case you haven't played them in a while. First of all, it's good to use a trap stand or a cymbal cradle to hold your cymbals. You might need a break after holding them for a long time. Please don't set them on the floor. Let's start with the grip. Grip the strap with your fingers and palm and use your thumb over the top of your index finger to help control the cymbal. The cymbal should rest against the knuckles of your first two fingers. This gives you control of both cymbals. The general principle is to move one cymbal and hold another. This works in most circumstances. Generally, you want to match the edges up, but you don't want them to hit at the same time. Your follow-through can affect the sound of the cymbal as well, whether you either pull straight away or slide the cymbals away. There are several different theories on playing the cymbals. Some prefer to hold one over the other. Some prefer to play them vertically, moving downward. Or upward. In all of these cases, it's important to match the edges up, but not at the same time. You want a sound that goes crash, not one sound. Following through can let the cymbals ring for a very long time. Dampening the cymbals is simple. Use either your stomach or your sides. Very rarely does cymbal dampening in concert band mean to do this. That's a special effects sound. You want to avoid using the marching band open hand grip, as this mutes a lot of the cymbal. I want to thank the folks here at Lone Star Percussion in Fullerton for helping me out with today's video. This is a great place to go, and it's a great source for everything that you need, very close to you.